Welcome to 98%. If you have never heard of 98%, 98% originates from one statistic that only 2% of collegiate athletes go pro. So what happens to the other 98%? I'm part of the 98%. My name is Daphne, founder of 98%, and I'm bringing this content to you today because I had trouble figuring out what I should do with my life after sports. So today we're going to discuss, is it worth going back to school to get a master's education versus just sitting down and taking an exam to obtain a professional certification? Before I get down into it, I just want you to ask yourself, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? The answer to that for me is still an I don't know. I don't know where I would have been 5 years from when I was 18 years old, and I still don't know to this day. But I do know that I want to be a resource to you. I want to share the knowledge with you that I have learned, and we can all come up in this world together. Regardless of what you decide to do, the goal is to help you prepare and get ahead in your career, regardless of if you decide to step into the job market or decide to start your own business. Wherever you are going, you are entering that space more knowledgeable, with more wisdom and more discernment than your counterpart by taking this next step. Let's get into the agenda. Number one, we're going to talk about the pros and cons for both getting a master's degree and a professional certification. Then we'll step into a real life example of the time and money it would cost to obtain either one of these two and why I even chose to go the professional certification route. 3, I'm going to share with you some resources where you could find trainings and take classes to build your skill set and to further your career. So let's get into the advantages of a master's degree. So you have an in-depth knowledge of your field. You have increased opportunities, a higher earning potential, reputation and credibility, especially depending on the master's program that you go to. You have better networking skills, also dependent on the master's program that you go to. And it keeps you competitive in the job market. So let's just dive into the disadvantages of a master's degree. There are so many master's programs out there, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think it's the best thing either. That means that you can get a master's degree from anywhere. It's easily accessible now with online programs, and I think that makes a master's degree less revered as they used to from way back when. I think way back when, there weren't as many programs available and it wasn't as easy to attain. And another really big disadvantage is that a master's program can be very costly and you are studying something that is very specific for a very high price. The cost of a master's program can range anywhere from $30,000 to $120,000 depending on the program that you attend. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of money to invest in. But if you feel like that is a path for you, then by all means go and do it. I will take you out to lunch. I will. So let's just jump into certifications. This is the path that I took, and I'll explain why in a minute. But let's just talk about the advantages of a certification. Certifications are based on industry needs. You get trained in a particular skill set that shows your employer that, hey, I am highly prepared to take on this aspect of your project. And they will literally hire you. Certifications aren't easy to study for. They are probably just as hard as getting your master's degree. You just have to put in the time and the effort to make sure that you pass an exam. And those exams are very rigorous. They make you answer 80 questions in 60 minutes. You think that's a lot of time to answer 80 questions, but it is not. That means that you have to know your... Anyways, certifications have a higher value in the job market, and that is because you are getting trained in a specific area that meets an industry need. Lastly, depending on the certification that you get, it will combine technical knowledge and managerial knowledge that MBAs or master programs incorporate into their learning plans. So for a fraction of the cost, you are learning just as much as somebody else that is in a master's program. I would say the only disadvantage of doing a certification is that you might feel like you are alone in this journey. And it's kind of hard to find people who are taking the same path. But I want you to know that we are in the age of the internet. Remember that there are forums, there are Facebook groups, there are people looking to find other people who are taking these certifications. There are people who are giving information on how to pass the exams. They are out there, so don't ever feel like you are alone and that your network is small. So let's get into the next topic. I'm gonna give you a real life example of how much it cost me to get a certification and why I decided not to go the master's program route. I just have a little story to tell you guys. So my second job out of college, I was working at a marketing firm, and one of my colleagues actually had a master's degree. He actually had an MBA, and he was about 28 years old and I was 22 years old. And I'm just sitting at my desk like, we are making the same amount of money, we are working the same job, and yet he has an MBA. And it dawned on me, I am never going back to school. It was decided right there and then. I said, I will find a way with my sociology degree. I don't care. It is what it is. And to be honest, I did not feel comfortable going back to school because I did not do too well in college. And I would literally have to go do a whole post back to fix my grades in order for me to apply to an MBA program of my choice. So currently I have 4 certifications. I have my CAPM, my PMP, PSM1, and Microsoft Azure Fundamentals certification. So I'm going to solely talk about my PMP. PMP stands for Project Management Professional. I got it from PMI.org. It's highly accredited and highly respected. The exam cost $450. The study materials cost $160. So that would include the PMBOK guide, the training videos, and also practice exams that I paid for. How much did it cost me out of pocket? Only $160 because the company that I was with at the time pays for certifications because it makes them look good and you get a free certification. So let's talk about it. The average salary of someone who has an MBA is around $100,000. The average salary for someone who obtains their PMP certification is also about $100,000. It cost me $160 to get this certification. It only took me 4 months to study for. Other certifications don't take as much time as that one, but this one did take me about 4 months to study for. And to go to an MBA program is about a year or maybe 2 years, depending on where you go. So here I am, starting my career off after 4 months of studying, and now I'm making good money than somebody who is taking a year or two in a MBA program or master's program, and after about 2 years, then they finally jump into things. I have a year and a half on them. I don't know, the decision it seems pretty easy to me. So even just to total all the certifications that I have gotten, they all cost just under $1,100. And how much did I pay out of pocket? Probably $300 for all the study materials that I went and got just to put in that extra effort to make sure that I passed these exams the first try. I will be honest with you that I did fail the PSM1 exam the first time by 1 question, annoyingly so, and I did have to come out of pocket for taking the exam twice. It is what it is. we shake it off, we do it again, and we pass. Nothing should bring you down. So I'm pretty sure you guys have some quick questions that I'm just gonna answer for you. Daph, what if I have a master's degree and no certifications and I'm struggling to find a job? Just go get a certification. I think it just make things that much easier for you, on top of the fact that you do have a master's degree. Daph, I have no master's and no certification. What should I do? In my biased opinion, just go get a certification. It will cost you next to nothing compared to going to get your master's degree. Daph, I have no bachelor's degree. What should I do? Go get a certification and then go get a job. In the end of the day, once you get that certification and you've landed a job, we all have to start from somewhere. Get your experience and then work your way up. And you will just so happen to work your way up very quickly, depending on how seriously you take the first year of your career. Daph, I have a certification, no master's degree, and I'm still struggling to find a job. I would answer this for anybody, whether you have a master's degree or a certification. You probably just need to look at your LinkedIn, utilize LinkedIn, optimize your resume, optimize your LinkedIn. Things should come to you very quickly. But that is a whole nother conversation for another time. If you'd like me to
let me know,
I definitely can. This is something that I learned literally February of 2021 when I was looking for a new job, and I had to revamp everything. Daph, which certification should I start with if I don't really know what I want to do? My answer to this: everybody needs to learn how to project manage, and everybody needs to have an understanding of where the world is going today. COVID shook a lot of things up, and it taught businesses how to remain agile to external forces that affect how they make decisions internally. The certification that you should get is your Professional Scrum Master 1 from scrum.org. You learn agile project management, and it only takes maybe a week, if you take it seriously, to study for. The exam costs $120. It should be painless. Once you put that on your resume, companies are looking for Scrum Masters left and right. Another avenue you should look into is social media. Social media is huge. Companies are looking every day to grow their social media presence, whether that's through search engine optimization, having a social media manager, etc. So here are certifications that can make you more knowledgeable on this topic. Anything Hootsuite or HubSpot. So Hootsuite social media or social marketing certification, HubSpot content marketing. I'm reading from a list here because Facebook Blueprint certification, Google Analytics IQ certification. Those are a couple to name a few. If you love technology, data, computers, regardless of if you have a degree or not, if you have a degree in computer science, information sciences, engineering, it should not be that complicated for you to find a job. But if you are struggling, either you need to boost your network or, again, go invest in a certification. So a couple to name a few is your
Google IT Support Professional Certificate, Cisco Certified Network Associate, Tableau, Power BI, Salesforce, Workday, anything Microsoft Fundamentals, anything cloud services. So Amazon, Microsoft, and Google would have these cloud practitioner certifications that aren't as hard to obtain and could get you a job pretty quickly.
So lastly, here are a couple of resources for you to look into to find trainings. And just to build your skill set, these are places that can have free courses or paid courses. Like I said, invest in yourself. Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, Khan Academy, Pluralsight Skills, CBT Nuggets, General Assembly. I don't even know why that's not higher on my list. Skillshare, edX, and Code Academy. So there you go, everyone. Depending on the path that you want to take, if you want to get your master's degree, kudos to you. If you want to get a certification, awesome. Know that there are pros and cons to each, But for certifications, the pros really just outweigh getting that master's degree. And when it comes down to things, time and money are expensive. So make sure that you invest accordingly and you know what you plan to do with it. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends, share my Instagram with your friends. There's so much more to come. Thank you so much for joining me.